Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Oh,
You
shit.
did?
Oh, you want to do the honors?
I feel like she has to.
Yeah, you got
It's
no
not
choice.
optional.
Damn. All right.
Jesus.
I think he needs another one.
Yeah, keep this in too. Make sure you keep all this. All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good wherever you are, and welcome to another episode of the Limicity Show.
Oh man.
Here we have a special guest.
I had to choose myself.
You know what?
She feeling
Introduce
fancy.
yourself. She was, y'all don't notice, but she was an asshole before this whole recording.
That's
So introduce
crazy. I'm a
yourself.
sweetheart. I'm very just misunderstood by these three black men over here.
Whoa,
You know,
I just got
the
here.
stigma and all.
What are the odds of 3 people misunderstanding you?
Very high.
Three
you
black
know.
men too.
Look at Jesus.
Wait, what?
So now you're Jesus.
I didn't say that. I said if he could be misunderstood, anybody can. Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel, and this is my second time on this podcast.
Is it?
Yes, it is. I was on this
One without
podcast
video.
before you were on this podcast.
She's not an asshole though.
Oh, damn. That's crazy. Not my feelings. That's
So I'm very excited to be back with the three amigos. So let's have a grand time.
I'm Quavo.
That was so random.
Well, Liz, glad to have you. Before we start the topics and stuff, how's everything been? It's been a while since we recorded, actually.
I feel
Well,
like it's also been a while since all 3 of us have been.
Yeah, because
true.
Darwin, we
Oh,
found Darwin.
We found Darwin.
Yep, there we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darwin has been found.
Oh, wow.
Are you in a relationship?
Call off the searches.
That's crazy. I feel like you should know me better than that.
So the answer is yes.
You didn't listen to the last episode. You know. We
no.
assumed that you was missing because you started a relationship or something.
I'm in a relationship with work.
That's tough.
Wow,
So
work.
he
He's-
is single, but not single. But, you know, we found Darwin, so thank you for all your help.
And
We appreciate
donations. We're still waiting on that, though. The check for the donations everyone
You
sent.
know, my Zell.
Wow.
I don't know what y'all talking about, but I'll take some of that.
But, Dara, how's everything been?
All right. So from, I don't know, what last one was February? All right. So from then until now, I guess there's been like small, minute changes, but I guess it would be significant. I got accepted into nursing school.
Very good.
Congrats.
Yes.
I'm
Thank you.
disappointed in you.
Your hairline's gonna get pushed.
You
back
should
a
still
couple
drop
inches,
out and be an
but
entrepreneur.
It's worth
Don't,
it.
don't worry. Thank you. I'll be.
I said your hairline's gonna get pushed back a couple inches, but it's worth it.
I'll take it. I'll cry in my Bentley.
That's right.
That's what I'll do. I'll just cry in there. Other than that, that's about it. Just starting the process, just like getting the paperwork. It is expensive. Oh my God.
friend
It's
just
at
finished.
Malloy. It
If
is.
you drop out, you ain't got to pay a dime.
I do, but I also don't like living out on the streets. You know, it's not a good
One of
look.
them will take you in.
Why are those the only 2 options?
Yeah.
Because I'm a black man in the struggle. But yeah, that's about it. That's been going on. So
How's everything been with you?
So my absence was due to some family drama. Well, I wouldn't call it drama. I had some family issues, health issues. It's as good as it's gonna get, I guess. So here I am.
as good as it's gonna get.
I feel like an asshole.
Right, you should.
Goddamn.
Yeah, man. Come on.
That's what happens when you assume.
You're on a roll.
Yo, I'm on a roll.
Side note, I like
man
how
over here
we're all
taking care of
wearing
his family.
black and there's just the
Except the
odd-
terrorists.
Yeah.
I'm not a terrorist.
Oh, not the T word.
If you say so, you identify as not a terrorist.
I see the trend.
Crazy. You know what? It's too easy to put all 3 of y'all in prison. You know how they do when they come to y'all.
Whoa.
I don't know what just happened, but
I
don't wanna be a part of
plead
it.
the fifth. I plead the fifth.
Well,
I'm legally
Rachel,
blind.
it's been a while since you've been on the show. How have you been since?
Years. Wow. I've been great, honestly. Not the whole time, but at this juncture now, I'm doing great. And I'm very happy to be at this point in my life, just enjoying life and not dealing with no one's bullshit. So that's always great.
I'm skeptical on that because of that story you told earlier where, everything was fine.
I was hoping for a little more context. That's what I was hoping for.
Or maybe you just have like a very skewed definition of what fine is.
I say I'm fine for everything because if I'm not, what you gonna do?
Emotional
Look
support.
back at that now.
Very absolute about things.
From that. Basically, the backstory to that is I was in a relationship that should have ended a lot sooner than it did. But, you know, better late than never. But never late is better. However, it did end. And I'm
Was that a bar?
happy about it.
Was that a bar?
There's a Drake bar.
Oh, okay. That was. Oh, okay.
Don't sue nobody.
What? Was it a Drake bar?
Yeah. That was like one
Never
of his,
late is...
That was like one of the first few songs
Yeah.
that came out. Better late than never, but never late is better.
Oh, wow. I heard that from my mother.
She
Maybe she heard from Drake.
My mother's 70
Or
years
Drake
old.
stole
Oh.
it from her.
Yeah. My mother ain't listening to no Drake.
So tell her she got to get her
She got
compensation.
a check. Cut that check.
But yeah, so where I am in life, I'm very happy. You know, I don't have everything I wish I did have. I don't have a car. I don't have a place yet, but those things will come in time. And I'm just thankful for where I'm at because I know it's just going to be great from here on out. So
very
that's how I
As
feel.
the kids say, period.
Hashtag period.
Hashtag.
So I know you just came back from a deployment. First, how was the deployment?
Trash.
Damn.
I'm never going on another deployment by choice ever again. Ever
Did you choose
again.
it on that
I
one?
did. I did because it was the first unit that I was a part of. I was like, oh, it would be nice to deploy with them. Joke's on me because I ended up getting put in another unit within the same 642, and it was just helter-skelter. It was ridiculous. I'm never doing it again. Ever again. Like, it was
Just-
so bad to the point where near to the end of deployment, I was telling one of the chaplains that I'm going to start going around and stabbing people in their necks. That's how bad it was.
Metaphorically.
Do y'all remember?
No, literally.
Okay.
Do y'all remember when
So,
we said that she
I
was
knew.
a terrorist in the beginning?
That's when I knew that
Maybe serial
it was
killer.
time
Yeah.
for me to just
I think you should just join
Pack it
the
up.
Air Force. That's what I
Rachel
think
Bundy.
you should.
listen. I ETS in 2027, so it's a high possibility.
Ooh.
You could just
2027?
get out.
Damn, that's
Be
a long time.
be a
Jesus.
civilian.
It's gonna be 14 years.
14? Look, they gonna throw that E7 at you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna E7 my ass to the Air Force.
That's right. We're hiring.
Air Force is the same thing.
Not in their deployments and
Yeah.
their,
Well, deployments, yeah, that's
treatments
different.
of-
I've never met an upset, an unhappy Air Force person. I'll die on that hill. I've never met an unhappy Air Force person, ever. And if they were unhappy, it's nothing the Air Force did. It's because they were just trash.
That's usually because we hear the stories of the Army and then we're like,
But also think about how many Air Force people you've met.
I've met a lot because of SAD.
SAD.
But all the unhappy people in the Air Force that I've known was Army first, and they were unhappy from the beginning. So that's a good point. I do want to talk about, because I know we spoke offline before this, and you said something that was very powerful, and something that I agree with, and it was that in relationships, I thought
Nobody ever called me.
you better answer it.
No, I'm not answering it.
Put them on the mic.
No, I don't even know who this is.
Let 'em know
Number
they
is not
interrupted.
saved.
I'll answer it.
Please.
But you said love is not enough.
Sure ain't.
Can you elaborate on that?
This is something I was talking about last night, actually. People have lost the true meaning of what love means. And they like to nowadays use love as a band-aid for things that they do inside of relationships and to people who they claim to love. For instance, they cheat. But I love you. They'll hit you. But I love you.
Girl, you
All
gotta
right.
Put that on vibrate.
It is. I'm about to turn this watch off is what I'm about to do.
AI.
But yeah, being in my last relationship, I realized that heavily that love was being used as a band-aid, even within myself, of course. I'll take accountability for when I said I love you and it was just becoming an automated response. And then once I realized that, it's like, what are we doing here? What are we really doing here? Because now it's been 3 years and I've been autonomously saying I love you for 2 because I knew in my heart I didn't want to admit it to myself, but eventually I knew that it wasn't getting there. And it took him saying that he wanted to marry me for me to realize, like, I need to get the hell out of here. Because this is not someone that I can spend the rest of my life with, knowing what I know about your character and the way you behave when things don't go your way. So that was it for me. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
So, what is a requirement in your opinion besides love? Like, I feel like in a relationship, love is definitely a requirement, but it's not enough for long term, at least.
Yeah. When I say love is not enough, I mean this era's definition of love. The love I want is 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 13. Love is kind. Love is patient. Love is all these different things. I could pull up because I can't remember off the top of my head, but it lists what love is. And when I look at myself, of course, and I look at others, I realize that I'm missing a lot of those things to fulfill the requirement of really loving someone. So I know within myself that these are things that I have to work on in order for me to really say that I love you. I know I have to be patient. Everything is not going to happen all the time, and love covers a multitude of things, but at the same time, you cannot play a fool under the guise of love and allow someone to do whatever they want to you because they feel like, you'll never leave. Or because, we love each other, we can work this out. Well, we can work this out and go our separate directions. It doesn't have to end on bad terms, and I feel like that's where people go wrong a lot of times. They wait too long to end something, and then by the time it ends, now you hate each other. And it doesn't have to get there. From the time you realize that, maybe we're not meant for each other, end on amicable terms so that you guys can go your way and there's no beef, there's no heart.
They're making a statement.
Yeah, I hope they acted, but
Yeah, is that?
I'm scared for what's happening outside. But
That door is locked, right?
There's no beef, there's no hatred. You don't have to block anyone. You guys can just go your separate ways and be amicable with each other. But that's not where this one ended up. And so be it, because I don't care. But yeah.
So, I got a question then. If you love someone, will you remind them about things that they forget?
I used to do that and I got chastised for it a lot. So,
Seriously?
yes.
I can see that.
Well, yeah, no
But
one
that's-
likes to admit that.
Is that
Yeah.
why?
I just let it be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sparks a couple questions then. I'm curious because from a woman's perspective, right? What's some things that, in your opinion, women do or you do that you do because you love someone, but women or you get chastised for?
Not say how I really feel about something, because I've been told that my tone is not the greatest, or it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So, I started to take a step back. Now I'm talking softer, and it's like, you shouldn't do it, but it's like, that's not me. It's not me. And for this certain individual, that's the way that their mother is. That their mother is. She's very soft-spoken. She's very sweet. She doesn't raise her voice, none of that. So then they started to bear down on me, like, do you want a version of your mother from me? Is that what you want? Because he's not used to being spoken to that way. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I'm telling you that when I speak like this, I'm not doing it to hurt your feelings. I'm not doing it to make you feel less than. This is just the way I speak. When I want to hurt your feelings, you're going to know I want to hurt your feelings. And this is not it. And that just was not clicking with them. So I found myself trying to change core aspects of my character to make them feel better. And in trying to make them feel better, now I'm putting on this facade. It's like I'm putting on a mask and playing a character. And then when they're not around anymore, I'm just like, finally, I can be myself. I don't want to have to do that. That's whack.
That's important.
Notice a lot of people do that.
Yeah, a lot of people do that in relationships. I think that's like a
Not even just
norm in
relationships, though. Like
In
just
life.
in life.
Like what they call it? Code switching. Like, I don't want to have to.
the white voice.
Yeah. Like, hi, this is Rachel. How can I help you?
yeah.
Thank God my name is Rachel. But like, what am I supposed to do? Hi, my name is Shaquita. How can I help you? Be for real. Like, just be for real. I don't want to have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that within your job, within relationships, within your friendships, at all. Of course, different people are going to get different sides of you, but it's different sides of you. It's not you being someone else totally to appease that person. Once you have to do that, just cut it off.
I think that's so important. Oh, just to clarify, they're doing method acting out there. That's why you hear,
Oh, wow.
Method acting? Like,
yeah, because it's a whole, it's a bunch of studios.
so like what's
it's
that?
like getting beat up.
Impromptu, was it interpretive dancing? Is that what it is? Like,
What is method acting?
It's the acting school.
Oh.
It's the conservatory acting school.
Okay.
It's this guy that's in trouble now.
Um,
Jonathan Majors went there.
Oh, Jonathan
Oh,
Majors.
oh.
Oh.
After people find out he went there,
Everybody started
Everybody
going
want to
there.
come?
flooded him.
Wow.
Okay.
I want to act.
So if y'all hear noise in the background, that's
That's what's
because
happening.
they're doing some serious acting over there.
That's interesting though, because like I can see you getting conditioned to the screaming and yelling, but then what happens if something's actually happening over there?
Well, it
long as they
depends
don't
on the
come to this
scream and
door.
the yell, you know?
Actors would be the best murderers, honestly, when you think about it.
I mean, quick story. There was a girl crying like boom boom. So I told him like, "Everything all right?" He said, "Yeah, I'm acting."
Oh yeah,
That's where the trust issues come
Right.
in. That's
that would drive me crazy. So, what made you leave the relationship? Because I feel like a lot of people stay in relationships that you described just because they're used to it.
Yeah, and I was a lot of people. So I definitely did stay in a relationship a lot longer than I should have because I was used to it at that point. I was like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't really bother me too much, even though it did. But I was telling myself that it didn't bother me that much because I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted to have the happy ever after. I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to have a family. Cool, but at what cost? My sanity? Absolutely not. Hell no, we won't go. No, not doing it. So once I came to that realization, along with that, I lost my respect for him. And once I lose my respect for you, it's not coming back because it takes a long time for me to get there. In this case, it took 3 years. But it takes me a long time for me to get there. So I know that once my respect is gone for you, I am confident and I will stand on the hill that I've done everything I could to try and make it work. And I shouldn't have to really try and make anything work. It should work. Granted, times are going to come where you have difficulties, you have hard decisions to make with your significant other. Fine, we'll conquer that hill when we get to it. But on a regular day basis, you're trying to make things work just for the sake of being with that person. It's not worth it. Because you're going to resent them in the end, and that is what ended up happening with me, and I wish it didn't, because I don't like to resent people, and I don't like to people have that part of me, like, dang, I don't want to see this person, I don't want to hear this person breath, don't breathe my air, I don't want to have to get there with anybody. Because why? It's really not worth it. So I'm still, working on that aspect of just letting it go and letting it be, and letting him do his thing and be happy and live a fruitful life. But yeah, that was it. It was the losing respect thing. It was gone. So it was time to go.
Did time play a factor in it? Like, as in you were in the relationship for 3 years. Was the fact that it's been 3 years, what I'm trying to say is, did you know a lot sooner that, and then you just stayed because it was like, it's been 3 years,
Yeah. I knew after the first criminal activity that he
Oh, there's criminal activities
did.
in here. Okay.
Stop. I won't call it criminal activities.
We're not
That
about
makes
to
it
say
sound-
whatever that
makes it
is.
sound crazy. But I knew after the first scandalous activity that he did within the relationship, because after that we did break up for a brief moment in time, and then we ended up getting back together like the crackhead that I was. So,
I think that's
after that time, I should have known better, because I always said it to myself. And this is why I understand when people say, don't say never, because you don't know until you're in that position. I would always be the one, I would never stay with a cheating man. I would never blah, blah, blah. And here I was, boo-boo the fool with the cheating man. So,
That was the activity?
yes.
Shit, you got me thinking this man had you smoking drugs.
Oh, absolutely not.
Say he
Absolutely
cheated,
not.
he cheated.
Yeah, 4 times. And I stayed. And
I
say,
mean,
so, yeah. So I learned a lot from that, you know. And one of the things that really heavy is that one time he had asked me a question. He's like, what's something that you wish you would have done differently earlier on in a relationship? I said, I wish I would have left you after the first time you cheated. And of course, it was
Facts.
silence after that, because what are you going to say?
Facts.
But I really do wish I would have left, because it would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of heartache, and saved him a lot of time and a lot of heartache, and we could have went our separate ways from the jump. But, you know, holding on to fantasies until that fantasy just dropped from in front of my eyes, and I was like, girl, pick yourself up off this floor and act like you was raised by a woman. So
I like that you said that, because I feel like a lot of people do stay in relationships like that. Like they're used and abused. They know it, but they stay because they like the fantasy. They like being the girlfriend or the boyfriend. They like the white picket fence, or I provide for my woman. They like the husband title, the wife title. But I do think that like your mental is a priority. Like all of that is not worth it if your head's not right.
yeah.
And if you're with somebody who's abusive in whatever way, or the relationship's just not working out, it's not going to work out in 10 years. If he's cheating on you in the first year, if she's doing you dirty in the first year, 10 years from now, he or she is probably going to do the same thing.
And that's what I really had to come to terms with, because if we're dealing with this now, in these little 3 years, I'm like, what am I doing when we get married? And now I have to put up with you, because now we're living together. And, you know, boom, we have a child. Now we have a child together, and we're still arguing. What is that really going to look like? If it's not working now, it's not going to work later. Getting married won't fix that. It's going to amplify it. And having children won't fix that. It's going to amplify it. So it's better to get out with your uterus still intact and go your way.
okay.
You know, I saw a bullet here that made me think of that. I think too in relationships, like people end up in relationships like that because the other person is selfish about something or some things, and then the partner just agrees. So like, I'm in a relationship, and
I knew it.
I am not in a relationship. But let's say I am in a relationship, hypothetically speaking.
Right.
And I selfishly like other women. And then she just puts up with it. And then
Is that selfish though?
selfish for me. If she doesn't like it, you know, if she's into it, then that's a whole different ballpark. But
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
You skip that.
well, that kind of brings up a question though. I was having a discussion with my girl about it. Like, can you choose who to fall in love with? And when you're in a relationship, can you fall in love with someone else? You know,
If you
like not lust, like
Love.
actual love.
if you open the door for that to happen, yes, you can. That's why you shouldn't open that door.
yeah,
Now,
that
Because
whole
you
open
can,
relationship
I'm
is crazy.
sure you can fall in love with many people on this earth just based off of the fact that, you know, they can be very similar to the person you're in love with now, or they can have different aspects of themselves that you fall in love with. So if that door is open, you never know what can happen. You don't know the person until you know the person. So it's like, dang, you're really dope. I really love you. And it's like, damn, but I got a girl though. Yeah, you knew you had a girl before you opened this door to start learning about me. You knew that she was there. It's not my fault that I'm a great specimen on this earth. But that you didn't know that until you got to know me. And now look at this conundrum that you're in. Sorry to you. Don't open the door.
But it's not intentional. You know, you don't always intentionally open the door.
Nah, you always make a choice to open that door.
Well,
I think
no,
when you're in a relationship, you do.
you don't make the choice to open it. You make the choice to keep it open.
Yes.
That's what I believe, because something like take for instance, like working together. Like you're in an environment where you work together. You're going to interact with each other on like a daily basis. So when that happens, you get to know the person. You get to know like them, you know, they'll share some personal stuff with you, you share some personal stuff with them, and you form like a form of connection. Now, if that connection starts progressing and someone makes the move, then it's up to you, if you're not the one making the move, to be like, whoa, to bring it down. So that's why I said, like, it's up to you on whether or not you want to keep the door open.
Nah, I think that's opening up the door. Like, you can work with somebody, you can get to know them very well, and the door's still closed. But let's say the moment, like, let's say you got a coworker, and the moment she's like, huh, you want to go out tonight? That's whether you decide whether you want to open up the door or not.
But what's the context in that?
Yeah, because the door might be
'Cause
closed
it
to you
doesn't-
and very open to her.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it doesn't necessarily
A door is a
mean...
door. If my door is closed, my door is closed.
Wait.
Yeah. I feel like
doesn't
her
necess-
door has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, her door has nothing
That's what I'm
to do with
saying.
it.
So in her mind, she could think the door is open, so she's going to continue pursuing something that she feels she has a chance at, and that's where I feel like a lot of men go wrong. They don't specifically shut women down.
I agree with that. I think men, I think we know when the door is open on the other side. I think as men, we also choose to not close that door because we're guys. We like the idea of, oh, she's interested in me, stuff like that. But it's your door. You got a doorbell. Don't answer. You know, it's plain as that. Like, if guys know when a woman is interested, and if you want to shut her down, you just say, no, thank you. Bye.
Yes, a lot of men don't do that.
But because we, as men, as much as, you know, we're the chasers and stuff like that, we're still human. We like the attention. We like being chased. It's human nature.
And we're conditioned to try not to be assholes.
Not only that, but like,
I said
men don't
try.
get the attention that women get. Like,
What-
you
what
walk
women
down the
get
street,
attention?
That's
you
what I
walk
was
down the
thinking.
street, and you be like, oh, you look good.
All right, see, that's a
Guys
big
don't get that.
misconception. So I'm not trying to sound cocky, but I know I'm a beautiful woman. I know I look good, and I don't want. It's hard saying those type of things because people always think you sound
Girl,
cocky.
you better own it. Go ahead.
But I
Go
know
ahead.
that I look good, and the biggest misconception is that men will open up their mouths and say something. They will not. They'll look. They will not say a word. And I had posted something on my story the other day. I don't know if you saw it. When I asked people, I was like, because someone said, yeah, because you're scary and intimidating. I was like, do the men
see-
think I'm scary and intimidating?
I can
And a
see
lot
that.
of them said yes, but not in a negative way. And, you know, they went on to explain what they meant and so on and so forth. And it's like, dang, I could really go out by myself, sit down somewhere, no man will say anything to me. But let me be walking down like a block or something, and some man with 5 teeth in his mouth and one
that
patch of hair
confidence.
left. Oh, sexy. Smile.
That's that confidence right there.
No.
So
no.
I have a question for you then. What do you think is more likely to happen? You approach a man or a man approach you?
A man approached me. I'm never approaching a man. I'm too
Is that prideful?
So that's
no. It's because I'm very I create stories in my head. I'm sorry. I create stories in my head. So before
I'm happy
I
that
do
you admit it.
anything, I'm already playing out the scenarios that'll happen. And if any one of those scenarios, I feel like this man will turn around and be like, hey, get the fuck out my face. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this. So I'm gonna just sit there, and anytime he's not looking at me,
Well,
I'm
how
gonna
do you
glance
know?
over.
I think a lot of women do that, though.
Like stories? What do you mean stories? Give me an example.
Like flying, right? When I get on the airplane, I'm creating scenarios. I'm like, all right, if this plane starts falling out the sky, I'm gonna hop out the emergency door so I can land in the water and I'm gonna survive. In my head, that's what's happening. And I'm like, all right, if the plane doesn't fall out the sky, then we just get to where we're going. If the plane is gonna crash land now, I have to jump out the plane right before it hits the ground so that I can survive. These are the stories that I'll create in my head before I get on the plane so that I'm prepared for any scenario. And I don't know why I do this. It's just like, I was talking to one of my guy friends. He's like, do you feel like you're a control freak? Not with other people, but with yourself? And yes, I do. I like to control my surroundings. And if I'm not in control, it gives me anxiety. So me going up to a man would probably never happen unless I know him or I've met him through somebody else. I'm too shy. I can't do it.
I think,
think that kind of goes with what you were saying, though.
yeah, like
where-
most men don't get approached by women, but you are more likely to get approached by a guy. Whatever guy finds you not intimidating.
It's never gonna happen.
Yeah, so
That one was watching me for 2 years, and look what he did. So,
Ooh, 2 years.
2 years collecting data. 2 years.
It's kind of creepy. Like, what do you mean
when
watching
you say
you?
it out loud.
Like, you guys have seen me on SAD. I walk around with a
I
straight
haven't.
face. Yeah, I've probably seen like twice. But these two, because I would go in the office, constantly see me all the time when I was Bravo. I would just say good morning to you, get the
Never
keys,
saw
and
you
then.
before.
But I walk around with a certain face as in to be like, don't talk to me because I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to work. So apparently that gives off the intimidating and scary vibes where it's just, I'm here to work. I'm here to make my money and go home. But he was out his mouth. He said that he was watching me and following me for 2 years. He'd see me walking around the place. He'd try to say hi, and I wouldn't respond
what do you mean
back.
following
my
you?
God.
Like, because
That
we were
wasn't the
working
first
in the
flag?
same. We were working in the same facility, so he'd see me all the time. I'd say good morning, but I'd never stop walking. So anybody that said good morning to me, I'll say good morning. I'm not looking at you. I'm just gonna be like, oh, good morning. Put my hand up and keep going. So he took that as I wasn't interested, and I wasn't because I don't pay attention to any man. That's my downfall. Now I have to start paying attention. 'Cause I'm like, how can I expect somebody to come talk to me if I'm giving them the cold shoulder? That's not nice. But that was the first thing. And then he was like, yeah, I used to talk to people, ask them questions about you just to get to know you a little more. I'm like, how are you? And these should have all been red flags. I'm like, why are you asking other people about me and not asking me about me?
Well,
I don't get
you
it.
know what I'm thinking already. Because you know how I am. I think there is, if you have a certain type of approach, there is a benefit to asking about a person you're interested in.
But for 2 years?
Yeah, that's where I feel like it's
crazy.
kind of,
Yeah, that's wild.
like that sounds kind of
man got
stalkerish.
a
Like, I understand it's like, I see Constantine. I'm like, oh, I see him talking to somebody that I know. I'm like, hey, Constantine got a girlfriend? Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna ask questions about him because I know this person that knows you. It's probably not gonna be more than a day. I'm probably gonna ask all the questions I gotta ask that same day. That's it. After that, I'm gonna say hi.
2 years. He trying to get your social, your date of birth, your favorite pet's name. That's
Did you ask him what he learned in those 2 years?
Yes, I did, and I asked him who he learned it from too, and those people were also questionable.
What did he learn? I'm curious. Did he
that-
you don't have to say what he learned, but did he learn anything useful?
Yeah. Yeah. The people who he asked about me were all people who also
we're interested in
were
you.
interested in me. But he didn't know that until we had started dating and I ran down the list.
That's a terrible
What-
sample collection.
Did he learn anything?
They didn't
from
say
those
anything
people?
bad because I'm not like an asshole to people. If I'm not interested in you, you're gonna know I'm not interested in you. I'll let you know, but I'll let you know in a kind way because I don't ever want to make somebody feel bad for expressing their interest in me. Like, that's my big thing. I'm not putting a man down. I don't care if you're the ugliest piece of booger on the floor.
Oh my God.
If you compliment me, thank you. But I'm not interested at this time. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Can't say at this time. You leaving the door open.
He's like,
You're right. You're right. I can't. Like, you can't say certain things. They're like, oh, at this time,
oh, so
I'm
that
not
means
interested.
How about
at
next week?
all. At all. Okay? But then, you say that and then you get shot. I don't want to get shot. So when you say at this time, you just never see them again.
You get shot? Well, okay.
Yeah,
or I get
I
called a
it.
bitch. Well, you ugly anyway.
Yeah, I
you know
feel
how many
like
times
Life is different as
how
a
many
woman.
times I heard
Yeah.
that? It's like, well, I'm so ugly and I still don't want you. What does that say about you? Okay? Please be for real.
All right, so what do you look for in a man? Like, what's non-negotiables in a man?
You have to have why am I tripping over my words? You have to have a relationship with God. Like, that's non-negotiable. Because before you run into other women, I need you to run to God. Pray about it or something, Please. I'm like, please. At this juncture in my life, like, because I go to church. I go to church. That's my safe. I just started going back. I was out for a while. And I went back and I remembered why I decided to go to church. It's just a warm feeling And it gives me some counsel and some peace to know that I'm not the only person struggling with the things that I'm struggling with. There are many people out there like me, and they've learned how to cope with it in a healthy way. That's what I need the next man in my life to cope with things in a healthy way. That's one. You need to be a protector of my heart and my peace and my mind, the same way that I would have to do that for you. If I can't trust you with my heart, we have nothing to talk about. If at the first sign of any, is that person okay?
They're just acting.
At the first sign of any slight inconvenience in a relationship, you running to talk to your friends or, contact your ex that's still your friend, that you still feel like you need their number in your phone for what? For why? For whom? So, yeah, I need that man to be well aware that my relationship with God is non-negotiable, and his relationship with God cannot be negotiable at all. Like, we need to be on the same page. I don't expect it to be perfect because I'm not perfect. I don't expect anyone to be perfect. That's a fallacy. But I do expect him to try, and I do expect him to be going down that road with me and not trying to hold me back.
Okay.
That was the main thing.
Does the God matter?
Huh?
Does the God matter?
Yes.
Yeah, I was
Because that's
get into
gonna he needs to be a follower of Jesus Christ.
Alright,
Because
Catholic,
when we
Christian, like how specific we get.
Christian,
Jewish.
yeah,
Oh.
Christian.
because all of them.
All right. Christian, because that is the way I want my children to be raised. And once you start mixing religions, unless it's always going to be a case of if someone don't care about the other religion, it's usually because one of them aren't a strict practicer of the religion, so they don't care too much. They're just rather do whatever. And I had an ex that said that too. He's like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want. I don't want you to do whatever I want. I want you to do it because you want to do it. Not because I want you to do it.
That's a typical female line.
No, it's because when it comes to stuff like that, you can't tell me, yeah, I'll come to church if you want me to, if I want you to. You're not doing it for me. Because when I die, what you gonna do? God forbid I was to die tomorrow. What are you gonna do? Stop going, right? Yeah, don't do it for me. So that's one thing. I don't want a man to do anything for me. I want him to do it because he wants to. And that was a big issue in that relationship. You were doing things for me. You're not doing it because you want to. So when now you don't like me, now you don't want to be faithful to me anymore because you don't want to do it for me anymore. You weren't doing it for you to begin with. You weren't doing it because you wanted to begin with. So yeah, I want the man to do it because they want to. And when you want to do something, you'll always do it, regardless of the circumstance in which you find yourself.
Okay.
Well said.
What would you say is the biggest? Well, first, before I ask that question, in your previous relationship, is there anything that led to the breakup that was your fault?
I'll say yes. I was. I'm very sometime-ish. I will say that I'm very
Sometime-ish?
sometime-ish. Sometimes I want to be bothered and sometimes I don't. And I explained that to him from the jump. He was a very affectionate person. I'm not an affectionate person. Sometimes I'm like a cat.
That made so much
The
sense.
best analogy I've
That was
ever
the best
heard.
analogy.
It's funny because we were actually talking about something similar. So I'm glad to hear that from a woman's mouth.
I'm literally like a cat. And that was something that was hard for him to understand. So then I started doing things just to please him. And of course, it started making me resent him. Why do I have to do these things? Why can't you understand that I don't want to do these things? Just like I understand that you don't want to do things sometimes. And that's where a lot of the thing was. Like, you expect me to do certain things, but when it comes to you, it's up in the air and in clouds. You can't do it. You can't do this and you can't do that. And I will say that, I started trying. I started trying more. I started holding back my tongue. I stopped saying certain things because it was always taken out of context. And I felt that anything I said was going to be used in a negative way. So I stopped talking. And then he didn't like that either. So I'm like, listen, I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't. And then at closer to the end, I got into this fuck it mindset. I was like, I really don't even care anymore. And that's when he decided that he wanted to start trying as hard as I was trying the whole time. I was like, it's too late. It's too late.
So I'm curious, because the whole cat analogy got me worked up. Do you feel like maybe did he have anything like going on outside of like the relationship and work? I don't know exactly what he does.
No, I was his only friend, and that was another red flag.
His only friend?
He didn't really have many friends that he would consider like, you know, going to hang out with and stuff like I'm
Right,
sure you
right,
guys
right.
hang out with outside of with each other outside of here.
No,
Like he didn't
like,
have
no
friends.
hobbies or
Yeah,
anything.
like hobbies.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So he
It
just
was
stared
just-
at
It
a
was
wall.
just me. So if he wasn't
until you
with me,
came around.
it was either me, church, practice. Like I was the driving force behind a lot of the things that he decided to do. Like, you know, hey, maybe you should do this. I was like,
He was the man in the relationship.
yeah.
I think that's a red flag.
And yes,
when you're
it
dating
is
someone,
when I need you to have your own outside of this relationship.
Yes. Amen.
And not to
that.
say that, you know, I might not find someone that I want to spend all my time with and like, oh, you know, this is great. But even then, I still have my own outside relationship. If I call up one of my girls like, hey, let's go get something to eat, I can just go get something to eat. I don't have to go everywhere and eat with you. I don't have to go to the movies every time with you. And that's how I felt it was with me. Like, if it wasn't with me, then he didn't know what to do. So I was his everything, but he wasn't my everything because he wasn't everything that I had.
That's a show on its own.
No, my immediate thought after you said that was that sounds like a dependent.
Sounds like a
But-
child. Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
but I do like I agree with you. I feel like in any relationship, the person you're with shouldn't be everything.
Yeah.
You should have your own. They should have their own. It reminds me of Will Smith. Was it Will Smith? I think it was Will Smith that said it. And he was like in
Get
a
your wife's
relationship.
name out my. Oh, that's the wrong one. My bad.
Wrong quote.
Wrong quote.
But he was like, "You're supposed to be happy in your own life.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be happy in my own life, and then we just bring it together and be happy together."
So completely contradicted himself.
I mean,
I mean, nobody really knows the details.
yeah, we don't know
This
the
is true.
details.
Yeah,
We're
this,
there.
it's just speculation.
That's true.
He was tired.
It's like that whole Jay-Z, Beyonce, Solange incident. We don't really know the details too much about that. We just know that he got hit. So
That's true.
But I do think that people need to have their own in any relationship.
I don't think not necessarily their own, because sometimes their own isn't enough. I think it's more so the tools to, even if you're trying to like spend your, like, especially if you're trying to spend your life with someone else, you need tools to take with you into that relationship, not just your own. I mean, if you're thinking your own, are you referring to like your own type of success, like job-wise, money-wise, goal-wise, or are you referring to like, I have the emotional capability to talk to someone, to spend my life with someone, you know?
I
So
think it's
I-
both.
Nah, I think what you're getting
Oh,
at. and
three
I'm sorry
three
because-
different perspectives. I love it.
Because this means a lot to me.
Three
Because I
different.
feel like I was that guy once. Also,
I have pictures. Yeah, you were.
Man got receipts.
Insert picture here.
but then also I feel like a lot of guys tend to do that where, and it's a whole thing where, you know, men's mental health and whatnot. Women tend to have a support structure outside of the relationship, and I feel like a lot of men don't have that. And not only that, there's no substance to their life outside of the relationship. So it doesn't even matter. Like, it's all of everything you said. Like, if you're if you're just living to work and essentially you get into a relationship and that's all you have now is work and your relationship, like when you're feeling down, when you have free time, of course you're gonna want to lean into that relationship more. But you should have something else that you're interested in where that person won't feel burdened, like, hey, you know, this
Smothered.
person has nothing else going on.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Smothered, perfect word, smothered.
Yeah.
Smothered.
Yeah, that was well fucking said.
Yeah, it means a lot to me.
Okay.
It's true.
And y'all agree?
I think men
Yeah,
need to do
that's
a
what I'm saying, it's
lot
definitely
better with the entire life, like of what's important to you.
And you know, I watched this other podcast, and they brought up that same thing about men not having support structures outside of, let's say, their relationship. So when things go awry, they have the right to really go to. Because he was like, "I'll go to my boy," and then he'll just be like, "Damn, that's crazy. You trying to get a drink?" It's like it's like your friends are really there trying to help you. Whereas with a female, I can only speak for myself. With my friends, I go to them and I'm like, "Dang," and I hardly tell my friends about anything because I'll figure it out type of person. So if I come to them, they know it's serious. So they're like, all right, you know, they'll sit down. They're like, you know, your feelings are valid, or if they're not valid, they'll let me know like, yeah, you messed up, and we'll sit there and have a conversation about it. Men not having a conversation about nada. That conversation is probably 5 seconds long, and it's damn, that's crazy. Or that's tough. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Yo, you trying to get a drink? Me and so and so
Let's go
going
get the
out,
girls.
and that's it. Conversation's done, and this man is grieving on the inside.
"You should stay single" quote.
So I know this is jumping a little ahead of what we're doing here, but I know one of your questions was about male and female friends, and that's why I tend to have a lot of female friends because I feel like we can actually have a conversation with substance.
Someone's
I agree with
triggered.
you, because yeah, I have mostly female friends, and it's because we can have conversations of substance.
I think that's all of us.
Listen, I listen to your
3 of us.
podcast. And you was fucking them female friends.
And we'll be
So
right
this
back
is
after
why,
these
as
short
a
messages.
woman,
First of all, I have not had sex with any alleged women that's been on the show. Secondly,
probably the only one.
secondly, what I will say is
It's a lone island over here.
secondly, what I will say
Hot pants.
is that you can have sex with someone and still be their friend. Like
And
thi-
that's
like just because people have had sex in the past doesn't mean they can't be friends.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I did not have
But
sex
where it
with any
gets-
woman that's been on the show.
Where it gets sticky is now you get into a relationship and you still have these friends, right? Cool. There's someone that you can confide in, and these women will let you know that you messing up or you're not messing up. You know where you can do better, what you can do to fix it. All that makes me think of is Usher. Because he was sitting there talking to his female friend, and she's telling him all the things he should do. And he's like, damn, I'd really rather be with you. Like, I don't want to have to be in battle with your female friends because they know you better than I know you at this juncture in life. So who's to know that they're just not hanging around until you figure out that you want to be with them?
That's a
I don't know
very
that.
specific example, though.
That's true, because it reminds me of the show that we did with Kima.
Okay.
And she agrees that like men and women can't be friends without a hidden agenda. But I think that you can, and even if there is a hidden agenda, you can keep it strictly platonic. Like, if I was to ever get in a relationship, I have female friends, and it's female friends that I talk to. I have female friends that, yes, we had sex, but it was like fucking 10 years ago.
Ages.
We
She
haven't had
remember that
sex
dick.
since.
She still remember it.
But that
I'm sure
doesn't
she does.
matter.
Does it? It don't matter to you. You don't know what's going on in a
But
woman's
remember,
mind.
we brought up doors.
We're referring to doors.
I was
Listen, let
thinking
me
that
tell
the
you
whole
something,
call.
right? Let me tell you something, right? This man, a man,
I like that.
but a man, had multiple female friends, right? Never met any of them, and that's a thing that some men do. I won't say all men. Some men do. You have these friends. Why haven't I met them? It'll ease a woman's mind if she can meet the person that you're so friendly with to the point where you would not even consider getting rid of them out your life while you're in a relationship, right? Cool. So if they're your friends, you know, let me at least meet them just to introduce. We don't have to be friends because your friends are not my friends. Your friends are your friends, and I'm just here. I just want to get to know them, right? A man had a few friends, right? One of them being an ex,
Oh, damn.
one of them working the same job that I work on, and one of them being someone's friend, someone else's friend, and then another one being someone that he attends a place with, right?
Whoa.
Church.
Had sex. Cheat on me with all of them, right? So this is where it comes into play that if you're gonna have these friends, I can't trust out your mouth, and this is because of the experience that I went through. I now cannot trust out of a man's mouth that they are just friends. I need proof. I need
Receipts.
facts. I need receipts.
What would be proof?
Well, like meeting them?
Let me meet them.
Okay.
Because I promise you, I'll be able to tell motives from the first meeting of a woman. A woman knows. And that's the same way when men say that I know what men think. However, does it always happen that way? Absolutely not. It's not 100% foolproof rule, so to speak. But a lot of times, I have male friends, but I wouldn't consider them friends that I'm just gonna be like, oh, hey, what you doing tonight? Let's go hang out. Like, they've been in my life for a very long time. But I know if I were to text them and I had something going on, they're responding back. And two of them are married. Two of them just be doing their own thing. And another one is, well, he's not even a friend. I don't call him that. But I know my boundaries with them. Why? Because
I mean,
I
at least
feel
you made
bad
the
for
short list.
Sorry for your
Right.
loss.
I know my boundaries with them. Why? Because two of them have women in their lives. I can't hang out with them the way I used to. And that's where a lot of women don't have the intellectual maturity to realize that, you know, this man now has a woman in his life that he considers to be of the utmost importance, so much so that he decided to make her his girlfriend. Let me take a step back. No, you have those females that are like, well, I knew him first, so I'm not going nowhere. I didn't ask you to go anywhere. I just asked you to respect our relationship, but it seems that you can't do that. So I already know what is, now in my head, I already know what it's hitting for. You want to be up under his butt because you don't want me here. You want the relationship that y'all had, whatever it is that y'all were doing, you don't want me here. Or else you would take that step back. You'd have that respect. I have that respect. I'm not competing with nobody, woman, because I don't want your man. And I want you to know that I don't want your man. But a lot of females don't do that. And they're just there. They're prying their way in. Like, I've seen messages of women talking about, oh, I like you. Do you think we can make this work? And then now in my head, like, do they know that you're in a relationship? And this is 2 years in. Do they know that you're in a relationship? Why do they feel comfortable saying these things to you?
Ooh, you sparked so many
So
questions.
please, with the friends, I feel like it's fine to have female friends. But if you know, and men know, that these females sometimes hang around because they like you, they think you cute, whatever case, men know. They just try to play stupid and coy. They know.
That's true.
Don't make me have to come now be in a relationship with you for me to have to start putting people out. I don't want to have to do that. Because one, I'm not competing with anybody. There's no competition. You could have what you have.
Hashtag period.
I gotta be one of the TikToks.
So I do have a question, right? This is for you. First, would you be okay if we did another hour? All right. So
We could do a part 2.
Another hour.
nah, that's fine. We could come back another day.
That's fine.
It went longer than expected.
Yeah, because now I have like a bunch of questions to ask. So I will ask one question before I ask, the final question. Do you think that people can be friends with an ex?
No, because the fact that you guys broke up should signify that this is not someone that you wanted to spend the rest of your life with. So if you don't want to spend the rest of your life with, why do you want to be friends with them? Why? Y'all? It's over. Let it be over. You don't have to be friends.
I agree with that. What if they were friends before?
And they were just trying it out?
Yeah.
Well then, yeah, that's different. That's different. And honestly, I feel like for most successful relationships, you should be friends first. You get to know a person differently as friends than you do when you're boyfriend and girlfriend, because you see a lot of you hear a lot of their dirty secrets and learn some of the things that they probably wouldn't necessarily share with you within a relationship. And if you still accept them for who they are as a friend, that relationship, I feel like usually those relationships are bound to excel. But if you were friends before, you tried something out, it didn't work. Hey, it didn't work. It didn't work. If now you was dating for 5 years and you realize it didn't work, yeah, cut that shit. Yeah, it's done. It's dead. You're not friends anymore. But if you were dating for like 6 months, it was like, yeah, this ain't working out. Well, yeah, whatever. We back to friends. Cool, fine, whatever. But there's definitely leeway on that point there. It's not a cut and dry answer.
Okay. So, final question since we got to wrap up. What is one experience or event that's happened in your life that if it didn't happen, you wouldn't be here today as successful as you are?
I bet you wish you followed up now.
Please? I wouldn't be as successful. I guess being born last, to be quite honest. Being the last child. My mother had me at 42. I was a surprise child. I came 8 years after her last child. And just seeing, she was in a different era of her life at that time, of course. She's a lot older. And just seeing how she had to break her back to provide for the children. My father was there, but that's a whole nother story in and of itself. I love my daddy. I'm a daddy's girl. Just don't get it twisted, y'all. But I'm also a realist, and I recognize when things are not right. And of course, you know, now that I'm older, my mother has spoken to me about certain things, and it's fine. But just seeing my siblings and how they behaved made me absolutely not want to be anything like them except my older brother. He's in the Army as well, and that's why I joined. I look up to him, and then the middle two made me realize like I need to get my act together because they are not as one of them is a ex-criminal, and then the other one is her head is in the clouds. So love my siblings though, and I grew up having to basically take care of them in a way. Like I take care of my sister. At one point I was paying her car insurance and the car note for the car that she drove. So, you know, I take care of my siblings, and from doing that, I realized that I need to make a lot of money because these people are losers. So I have to be the winner in the family. So sorry to them.
That was
The honest. It's
was
the
insightful.
honesty.
I like that. That was a very different answer. And that also goes to show that, you know, women can have kids, you know, after their 40s. Yeah.
Don't
or in
do
their
it, though.
40s.
Yeah, it's not ideal because I've seen that my sister-in-law, she had her daughter. She didn't expect to get pregnant again, but my brother had different plans, and she ended up pregnant again at 38, 39, 40. So she had my niece, my first niece, and that took a toll on her body. That girl almost died. So yes, you know, it's possible for women to get pregnant at those ages, but after 35, it's a real slippery slope for women. Like children can literally, being pregnant at that age can make your teeth fall out your mouth. You can go blind. You can have irreparable damage inside of your body, and then it's just over for you. So it's best to do it when you're younger because you can snap back easier, of course. So anything is possible, but just because you can do anything doesn't mean that you should.
Amen.
Amen. That was well
Preach.
said. Well, we appreciate having you here. We definitely got to do a part 2. An hour is not enough. So clear your schedule. And when we plan, just be sure to, you know, remind me.
All right,
if
this
you don't
time
get a
I'll remind
reply, you know, all right.
Listen, man, I'm traumatized. I don't mind anybody anything anymore. The last thing I need is somebody yelling at me like, I didn't forget. Okay.
Listen, I'm not your ex. All right, remind me.
Like, okay.
He's leaving it.
That's the end of the show. I was told to say this at the end of the show. If you like what you heard or saw, comment, subscribe. Whatever.
The algorithms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all you get from me. I don't give a
Praise
fuck
the
whether you listen or
algorithm
not.
It helps
gods.
him.
We love you either way. But that's
He
all
don't
for
want
the
to
show.
say it, but you better leave some good reviews.
Yeah, I'm coming to
Like,
your door.
comment, subscribe.
2 years I've been watching you. But that's the end of the show. Happy 80-20. Happy Levicity. Fuck being average. And we'll speak to you all soon. Wait, you gotta call it.
Oh,
Say the date for me, please.
the date?
Yeah.
What's today's date?
What's
today's
the
date?
the 11th?
The 11th, March 11th.
March 11th. I don't know what to do.
Oh,
You should keep that in.